just a brief update on the Caribbean Financial Action Task Force. As you know, last week I was in the Parliament debating three of the laws. It was the Penal Code, the Penal Procedure Code, as well as the Civil Code. Just to give a little background, the CFATF is managed by a board, and each member country has the voting rights. We were extremely fortunate to have been given until November for member states to vote again, but we have a lot to do in the meantime. Besides getting these laws passed in Parliament, they have to be ratified, implemented, as well as translated into English in order for CFATF to evaluate them, to make sure that they are compliant with their recommendations. The National Risk Assessment will also measure the effectiveness of the laws, and we have already engaged the World Bank to assist us with such. The misconception that we can just talk to the organization and use a hurricane as a reason for the delay cannot be used any longer. And it will not fly, because we already escaped an hour vote, and that leniency will not be granted again. So we look forward to making sure that these laws are passed. Understand that these are not my personal laws, because I think we always have to separate the two. These are laws that have been pending since 2014 and back. As far as the recommendations from CFATF, that's been since 2012. The laws have been worked on since 2014, but we have to be compliant and ensure that we are not listed or get a public notice. So I look forward to the debate next week, Monday, and moving this a step further to approval. Just an update on the MLC, the Miss Lally Center. The special ordered security doors have arrived, and they are being adjusted to ensure that they are being properly installed. The special toilet and basin combo have also been delivered, and these are being installed with the coordination of the arrival of a water pump necessary to guarantee the correct bars needed for the right pressure and the suction. Just an update on the Point Blanche prison as well. The interior of the cells are being painted by the inmates themselves, and this is being coordinated aisle by aisle. Once this has been completed, then we will start with the epoxy, and the bunk beds as well will also be painted, just like we have improved the Phillipsburg police cells and holding cells. We are also fixing up the Point Blanche. But it was important that the roof was fixed first, and now we can work on the interior. The washing machines have also arrived at the Point Blanche facility. They're being installed while the electrical and the drainage adjustments are being made. We look forward to that being completed as well. And the fence has been delivered on site, and the site clearing around the fencing area will be done and completed as well. So we have a lot going on in the detention facilities. Finally, I'd like to echo the GB announcements that have been made regarding what we call behind the cake house area, because in order to protect the grid of GB, they will be installing fuse sizes based on the cable rating. This will be done at the source, which is the transformer station. They have also advised the residents of that area to restrict the use of unauthorized connections to homes that have not been legally inspected by the VROMI Inspection Department. This will avoid disconnection of the electricity supply to that area. Should this occur, reconnection will be done the following day. Again, these are measures being taken to prevent electrocution as well as any fires. On behalf of the Minister of VROMI, I ask all residents to please comply with them as well. And again, on behalf of the Minister of VROMI, Minister Gitterson, the letter to the Regional Authorizing Officer of the Ministry of General Affairs, the letter granting permission for the usage of the area of parcel CA 021/1975 for the development and reconstruction of the MPO shelters has been signed off by my person on behalf of the Minister, and we look forward to that construction starting and again preparing us to
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Mega Wadi is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
We are not looking at the possibility of how this can hurt. And I would like to hear from the ministry, have you also look at, because I don't see enough of that in the elucidation of any of these laws, what will be what will be counterproductive about doing it? Because we can't pretend like every law is perfect. Obviously, if you implement a law, there are going to be some things that are going to be difficult for the country, and we have to be honest with the members of parliament and the country about that. What are some of the things, for example, as I just read here from this paper, what are you putting into place or predicting are possible negative outcomes from the implementation of this law? Because again, we are quick to say we have to abide by international standards. My duty is to protect the people of St. Martin. Now, I have to protect the people of St. Martin by making sure our international banking isn't corrupted, that we don't lose corresponding banking, sure. But I also have to make sure that locals can open bank accounts, that they're not harassed every day for all kinds of unnecessary and things that are unconstitutional. And going to that as well, Madam Chair Lady, Mr. Yusia mentioned there was an issue with the Constitutional Court the previous time we made changes to the penal code. And one of the things I personally am seeing here, I see a lot of constitutional issues with regards to breaches of privacy. The Constitution is very clear about the protection of privacy of citizens of St. Martin.
Minister, can you indicate whether the amendments of this law is purely to be in line with international laws, or if the passing of this law will have an immediate positive impact on St. Martin? And if there will be some immediate positive effects for St. Martin, can you give me some examples of them? Did the MOT or the ministry do any due diligence of these laws? Or is it just a matter of, being in line with the international standards? So, for example, would you be able to give an example of some checks and balances some exercises you went, investigating checks and balances as to how this will have some type of positive impact on the people or the businesses of St. Martin? As it relates to the terrorist financial transactions, can the MOT report of any findings in the past through any of our banking systems where there was record of terrorist financial transactions? Would you be able to answer and say, yes, there was some, and that's why we have to now not only be in line with the law, but we have been affected by this? I know it was asked before, But I will take it a step further and ask that if this law was not approved, what are the itemized consequences for individuals as well as businesses for St. Martin? What will happen? Can you give some examples of things that will hamper us as a country or as a people or even as businesses?
It was mentioned that there are no financial consequences for St. Martin if the draft is approved, but that there would be financial consequences if it is not approved. Can you further elucidate what the financial consequences are if St. Martin does not approve this draft? And my last question for now, Madam Chair, would be what classification or group of businesses, entities, legal persons, individuals are currently fitting the bill as suspicious in terms of money laundering and funding of terrorism. As my colleague mentioned and quoted several countries that have known links with terrorism, is it such that St. Martin has any known links with terrorism? Has there been any report whatsoever coming out of St. Martin within even the last 5 or 10 years that any money laundering can be linked, any proven money laundering? Because I haven't even really heard of any proven cases of money laundering. I know the islands are looked at as ripe for this type of thing, but we can go back in history to know what all these islands were known for and why we were strategically, what was that word? Needed by bigger entities for their transshipment and their laundering of money, as well as transshipment of human smuggling, etc. So I really would like to know what types of reports have happened that make, I understand we needing to be in compliance, but like other countries have negotiated and at least minimized the effects on their communities, has any attempt been made, especially after you've been able to identify to me what types of businesses would be targeted, what types of individuals would be targeted once this law comes into effect by the financial institutions? Because I think that is where, is it touching everyone? Is it only touching the politicians? Is it only touching et cetera, et cetera?
Hey ma, how you doing? You busy?
I hear, just paying some bills, taking care of business, you know what it is?
I know, you're doing your online banking.
I don't have to stand in those long lines to pay bills. I can transfer when I want. I can check my account wherever. It's like the bank open 24/7. I even here checking the statement right now as we're talking. How's Miami?
Well, that's why I'm calling. I'm finishing up a few songs now, but I'm afraid that studio time might be more than I thought. And I was wondering if I could get some help with some funds, and I could pay you back as soon as I get back to St. Martin.
Let me check my account. How much you need?
I think 500 should be enough.
I can transfer it to you while you're online. Direct from me to you. No problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Ma. I'll get online with Viv now.
Alright, darling. You know who you're for?
I need to know who you're for.
Contact WIB today for your complete personal online banking experience. Available for all mobile devices, the Wynwood Islands Bank, now your online banking partner in progress.
invite you, Minister, to take the floor on this matter.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I do agree with the approach. We have taken note of the questions, and we will provide those at a later date as well. We'll now go over to Mr. Yusia, who will present the Penal Procedure Code. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Mr. Yusia, you may proceed.
Once again, thank you, Madam Chair. Let's go to the Penal Procedure Code then. The draft national ordinance establishing a new code of criminal procedure aims, among other things, so not only, but aims to, among other things, to modernize the code and to rectify all defects in the code according to the FATF recommendations. Important here are the FATF recommendations 4, 38, and 40. In short, countries must have mechanisms that enable their competent authorities to effectively manage. Yes. So countries must have mechanisms that enable their competent authorities to effectively manage and, if necessary, alienate goods that have been frozen, seized, or confiscated. These mechanisms must be applicable both in the context of national procedures and in accordance with requests for other countries. With regard to freezing and confiscation, this recommendation has been implemented, among others, in Article 119, 119A of the Penal Procedure Code. With regard to the confiscation, this recommendation has been implemented, amongst others, in Articles 174 to 177 of the Penal Code. These articles can be applied at the request of other countries, but a draft of the new Penal Process Code contains more detailed regulations for international cooperation, as referred to in Recommendation 38. The purpose of the draft is, among other things, to comply with all the provisions in the recommendation regarding international cooperation and international legal assistance. Being part of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, we are also part of a lot of international legal assistance treaties with with a lot of countries, not almost all. The most important exception is the countries that are mentioned on the list of high-risk and non-cooperative jurisdictions, as published on the website of the FATF. These treaties usually contain a rule concerning confiscation and freezing or seizure at the request of other countries. The draft of the new Penal Procedure Code contains a more detailed set of rules for international cooperation than the present code. In practice, international legal assistance is also provided to countries with which no treaty has concluded. The procedures take a little longer in those cases. Also, it's pointed out that the new Penal Procedure Code contains a new regulation of International Joint Investigations Team. It's stipulated in Book 7, Title 8. It's called International Legal Assistance. Incidentally, this is already customary in practice in cooperation with the authorities of the French part of Saint Martin.
am Dave Arundel, and I used to play baseball from 1972 when the Cahill Tigers started until I got ill and retired here in this chair now. I played all over the place. I represent St. Martin. I even went to Tortola, Curacao, Aruba, and played the game of softball and baseball. So I'm well educated in the sports, and I also had my own sports program, Talking Sports. That was with baseball and softball as well. And I also used to announce games on the baseball field as well as the softball field. Was announcer with Mr. Elton Richardson, and also here in the local TV station we used to bring across the games. And so that's telling you about Dave in a nutshell.
So now you are in retirement, and then you say you still have a sports program that's still going on?
No. I'm in retirement now because I got ill and I'm in a chair now, so much can be done. I still love the sports. I still follow baseball locally as well as internationally. As you know, I'm a Yankee fan. So the game is still inside of me, but the sports program, all that has come to a halt as well. So I just follow the games and listen to the games now.
From my understanding that you're going to be honored today, how do you feel about it?
Well, it's a privilege to know that some people in the community appreciate the time and the input that they had into the sports on the island. And it wasn't done to get any recognition, but I did it for the love of the game. We love the game according to Major Brown. As a young boy growing up, when Major Brown used to come around in the village, Cahill, and pick up all the young boys and say, let me go on the field and play ball. And with that, he keep us off the road, keep us out of trouble, and we go into the sports. I could even give you a little story on that, because I remember a time we had the Molson tournament, which was a big thing in the U.S. Virgin Islands in St. John. And we, from St. Martin, went to the Molson tournament. And we did pretty well. We had high standard in Southbury and Iron. We had a guy they call, his name was Cesarino. We went to Tortola. And we had Tortola gone. At the end of the game, the guys from Tortola came over to Cesar and told me, let's say, partner, with your pitching and our defense, nobody can beat us. And they just came back from winning the tournament in Venezuela, the Pan American game in Salvador. So good that we had players here in St. Martin. So it's not that we just play for recognition, but we were also playing to win, and win we did.
Now, you know, Dave, back in those days, these guys have got a beautiful ball field today. We used to play on the same ball field here with rocks.
Oh, yes, Ricardo. You could recall that, Ricardo, because you yourself had a few nicks and knocks as a catcher, as one of our number one catcher, and we used to play here between the pomseret trees, the manzanita trees, and all the cow dung and things. And we used to have to go clean up the field before we get to play ball. So Ricardo, you know what you're talking about when you say when you play the rocks and stones in the field here in Cul-de-sac.
And you know, in those days we used to come up and play ball every day, as soon as school finished.
Yes, Ricardo, that's no lie. Every day, as soon as finished, sometimes we didn't want to eat, Ricardo. We just come on the field to play ball because when we playing ball, we were feeling good. Sometimes our parents had to come look for us and take us out of the field to come home. So as soon as school finished, we on the field. And as weekends, as soon as the sun rises, you do your chores and you go out to play ball all day. Forget about eating and go play baseball.
We used to eat some food, even though there's no light. We didn't have no light.
No, we didn't have no light.
We still playing. We can't see the ball.
When we can't see the ball, it was then we stopped. That is true. That is true. We had some good rivals in those days, Ricardo. I remember Saunders, we had Cul-de-sac, we had Colby, we even had Marigot when they had a team in Marigot. So we was well organized. Today, Ricardo, the opportunity that these guys have today, we didn't have in our time. Because I know if we had the opportunity that they have today, a lot of us would have been playing Major League Baseball today. That's for sure.
I remember when we beat the team on the French side,
They wanted to beat us up before we go back to war. Never went back over there to play again.
That is true. That is true. That is true. But that, and I can also recall the Princess Juliana Cup, which we played here on the field, and when we beat up on the French side, they was vexed. They wanted to battle us. The guy shout. I can't forget it.